It's a grey and rainy day in Staffordshire, but Mark and I have come to Lichfield to spend a day at the Brewhouse and Kitchen restaurant on one of our brew day experiences. We first visited last June to review the restaurant just after it opened, and I'll link to that review in the box below. So now we're going to head out into the rain and go and make some beer. If you've ever wondered how beer is made, or if you're a keen home brewer, then you'll enjoy a brew day experience at a Brewhouse Kitchen and Restaurant. We were invited to spend a day at the Lichfield restaurant, working with their head brewer to help him start off a batch of Spellman Sam Pale Ale. First, the malt is added to the hot water in a mash tun. The hot water helps to break down the complex carbohydrates in the grain and turns them into sugar. It all has to be mixed together very thoroughly to make sure that each and every grain comes into contact with the hot water.
Gives you a bit of workout. Yeah.
It takes a while for this process to take place. So we stopped for a delicious bacon roll and sampled the range of beers available at the Brewhouse and Kitchen. Full details of how to find your local Brewhouse and Kitchen are in the description box below. Most of the grain sits on top of the water, but some grains will find their way down to the bottom. So the liquid is filtered back through the spent grain. Mark and I both had a go at this part of the process. We were also able to sample the liquid. It's very sugary at this stage and doesn't really taste much like beer. Next, the liquid needs to be transferred into the copper. More hot water is added to make sure that every drop of flavour is extracted from the spent grain. And the beer is transferred via a pump into the copper. It takes a while to do this on the equipment used here, but the job would be a lot quicker at a large-scale brewery. The specific gravity is checked at this stage, and then the beer is gradually brought up to 100 degrees centigrade. This is a good time to break for lunch. Well, what goes in must come out, so after lunch it's time to clear out the mash tun. I think Mark did a pretty good job of this task. While Mark was finishing off the cleaning, I helped measure out the first lot of hops to be added to the beer. The first batch of hops are added to give the beer its characteristic bitter flavour. They'll go in when the beer reaches 100 degrees centigrade. Meanwhile, the fermenter needs to be sterilised and the pipe needs to be set up to transfer the beer out of the copper into the fermenter. The beer is now at 100 degrees centigrade and it's time to add in the first batch of hops. Now the beer has to be gradually cooled down, ready to transfer it into the fermenter. And more hops are added when it's cooled down, this time to add a light aroma to the beer. The next step is to add the yeast, which is what will turn the sugar into alcohol. We used dried yeast, so it had to be activated before we could add it to the fermenter. This takes a few minutes. Once the yeast has been activated, it gets poured into the beer. That's right, more cleaning. Everything has to be thoroughly cleaned after use, so Mark set to work getting all of the hops out of the copper. He really put his back into the job. And now it's all spotlessly clean. Now the beer will ferment for several days before it's ready to be wrapped and drunk. So after all our hard work, it was time to sit down by the fire and enjoy a delicious pint of the Brewhouse and Kitchen's own American Pale Ale. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.